All right, let's keep looking for more stuff we don't need at the July 2022 Brimfield Flea Market.
Almost there.
I believe this radio here is a Zenith Royal brand radio. I looked it up online. It looks like it's probably from the 1950s, just based upon the design, but I couldn't find the exact model, so I'm not exactly sure what it's worth. And of course, there was no price on it. If you haven't already done so, please don't forget to subscribe. Hit the like button if you liked the video, and the bell icon if you want to know when my new videos go up. It helps out a lot. This type of stuff really isn't my forte, so if there's anything I'm looking at here that is really amazing and I totally missed, just let me know, and I'll try to take a closer look next time.
Yep. Yeah, these are before.
The first thing I noticed when I entered this field was the giant KFC bucket here. This would have been their main logo, usually on the roof or on a sign out front. And from what I read online, this logo was in use between about 2006 and 2014, so it's really not that old. But you never see these at flea markets, at least I never have. I don't know what they were asking for it, but I would guess it would have been in the thousands of dollars.
It's off a KFC restaurant, but it looks fairly new. I mean, even the design, it's probably within the last 15 years at most.
It's KFC, not right?
Yeah, but I mean, that logo is very new.
Here's a Tandem Bicycle. It looks like it's probably from the 60s or 70s based on its appearance, but has anyone here ever ridden a tandem bike? It seems to me it would be very difficult and very annoying. I don't know why you'd want to do that. It just doesn't seem like any fun to me.
Somebody on the trail riding.
Here's a bunch of board games. I don't think these are antiques though. They seem to be using the old logos, but I think those are new releases. So probably like throwback type releases. Not antiques. Now here's something else that you almost never see at a flea market. Let me know if you can guess what this is. It'll become obvious in a second, but at first I didn't recognize what it was.
Oh, this is part of a bowling alley.
Yeah.
Wow.
I'm not an expert in bowling, so I'm not sure. Are those candle pins or are those duck pins? I actually don't know the difference. If anybody knows, let me know in the comments. And I have no idea what he was asking for these, but again, it would have been in the thousands without a doubt. Something I've noticed recently with toys is there seem to be very few 80s toys, so like G.I. Joe, Transformers, that type of thing, He-Man. I don't see those a lot. I see a lot of 70s toys, and these are mostly 90s toys, except for some that are older, but there seems to be a gap where most of the 80s toys are gone, and I think that's because most of the people that are interested in them are about my age, and they've bought them all up. And I would bet you that the 90s toys start disappearing next. Just a guess. So I thought this box of books was interesting. These are old, I guess you'd call them textbooks, or history books from, I think they were from the 60s or 70s, 60s. And I just remember these from school back in the 80s. We definitely still had these. I'm sure they were out of date even back in the 80s, and nowadays I'm sure there's stuff in there that's very inaccurate or politically incorrect. But they definitely bring back a lot of memories for me, that's for sure. And if you're looking for cast iron pans, this is the guy. Get it? Iron Man? Did you see that Iron Man figure there? These are actually good prices for these glasses here. These character glasses, only $4 each. That's what they always went for as long as I can remember. But a lot of vendors now are selling these for 10, 15, 20 or more each, which is way too expensive. I actually have quite a few of these, but I didn't bring my list of the ones I'm missing, so I'm not sure which one of those I should have bought. It's an interesting clock there. Reminds me of something I probably saw on Antiques Roadshow at some point. I have no idea if that's an original or a reproduction though. Just don't know enough about that type of thing. Now this rectangular thing here that says Catalina on it with all the switches, I'm pretty sure that's the electrical panel out of a boat. Probably a 60s or 70s boat, I'm guessing. That's such a random thing to have. This is some sort of projector. I'm not sure what kind though. If anybody knows, let me know in the comments. Here's some cigarette cards. These were in cigarette packs back in the the 1900s, 1920s, 30s, 40s, around then. The world flag ones are probably one of the least desirable. If you ever see baseball card ones, definitely look into buying those. Those, if you can get them cheap, they're usually worth quite a bit. That's a very 80s looking portable radio there. This record collection's interesting. It says this belongs to private first class Buggy and Oulette. Please put all records back when you take them out. I think those are probably World War II era, and I don't know, maybe those were like in the common area at their base or barracks or whatever. So that's pretty interesting, I think. Now this guy here had a lot of good stuff. The problem was a lot of it was water damaged or damaged by humidity. And this was really cool. These magazines here, most of them are still in the brown paper wrapping that you'd get when you had a subscription. So this is from November 1964 of Railroad Monthly. That's pretty cool to have them still in the original mailers like that. I actually have a Merlin like this, but mine's in all with the original packaging. It's in much better condition. And I think I only paid $10 for it, so I got a pretty good deal. In case you weren't sure, it's a electronics game from the 1970s. And this one, you can see all that blue on the in the battery compartment. That's all from corrosion. Somebody left the batteries, and the batteries exploded, and they left corrosion behind. So that probably would not work if you put batteries into it now. So you should always look out for that on any electronics. Check the battery compartment. Some more of these character glasses. These are not unreasonably priced. This that Empire Strikes one there is, I think, $12, which is reasonable. But I've seen that exact one, that Empire Strikes Back one, at another booth. I think he was asking $28 for it. And a Hess truck. You always see a Hess truck at a flea market. Love it. $1 each for that entire table. I looked through it. I always like, $1 each. You usually can find something. I didn't see really anything that really jumped out at me. It looks like a very old cable splitter box. Pretty much worth nothing, as far as I know. Now this got me excited. This pile of old telephones. You know I love telephones if you've watched any of my videos before. And a lot of these are earlier than what I'm interested in. I like the 60s, 70s, 80s style. And this one jumped out at me, this brown one here, which I actually ended up buying. I've never seen a brown one like this. So now I've got a brown one, a black one, a white one, and I'm really looking for a red one or an orange one, but for whatever reason, the red and orange ones go for a lot of money, or at least in comparison. And this one's in really good condition. There's no rust on it at all, which you see a lot in these old telephones. A lot of them are rusted out.
Hi, how much is the phone?
Don't mail me a check.
Yeah, the brown one.
I'll mail you
20 bucks.
20 bucks?
and I'll give you the books.
Would you do 15?
Yeah, I guess so.
Yeah? All right, cool.
I've never seen these before. These Del Monte posters here with Disney characters on them. These obviously would have been at grocery stores probably in the 1980s, advertising Del Monte fruit or vegetables. Here's something you don't see too often. These are posters from Burger King, promotional posters that they would have put up to go with their value meals. You know, for example, this week it was the Troll Dolls, this week it was Pinocchio, etc. I'm guessing these were probably from the 90s or 2000s. Not exactly sure. But these, you don't see them too often because they usually don't give these away. I worked at a McDonald's back in the 90s, and I had to fish a few of these out of the dumpster to get them. But to see so many of them in such great condition is very unusual. Gumby VHS tapes. Definitely don't see those too often. And here's again something you don't see too often or ever is a Coney Island tile mosaic. The dealer says it's from Coney Island in New York. If I were gonna make an offer on this though, I would have to do some research to verify that's the case, and if so, where it's from, when it's from, and I would have no idea how much to offer for that type of thing. I love these ships models. I've said it before, but I love them. They're so detailed and surely so expensive. That's the problem. They've got to be at least a few $100s.
Those are probably more expensive. These are older ones.
Yeah.
1961. When they used to put the
$5.
It's not bad for those old ones.
It's
Who was talking?
a real lady in pink.
Who here remembers the California Raisins? I remember when I was a kid in the 1980s, probably mid-80s, the California Raisins were a big deal. They were an advertising thing for the California Raisins brand Raisins. And I remember I had a cassette tape with them singing 1950 songs and everything. And for whatever reason, kids were into them. Nowadays, they'd never make something like this because I'm sure it would be considered offensive or racist even. But at the time, nobody thought anything of it, and they were pretty popular. Here's an old rusted Slinky. Looks like probably one of the originals. Does anybody else think that painting looks cut off? The front and the end of the words are missing. And these paintings are very unusual. I would guess these are probably blacklight paintings, so they probably fluoresce under blacklight or fluorescent light. Very psychedelic.
There's a woman on
And a few of these booths I'm not going into because I went into them in May, and I have videos going over, you know, most of this stuff in detail already. So I didn't want to repeat myself too much. So if there's something I missed that you really think I should have taken a look at, check out my May videos. There's a pretty good chance it's in there. I really like this here, this old sign, this Santa sign for Smart Savers, I think it was. It must have been an old furniture store of some sort. No idea where. That's cool. Now this is something I definitely would never buy. A showroom sample casket.
Oh my.
Want a floor model
Yeah.
casket?
Just a little piece of one.
Salesman sample, I guess.
Yeah.
I get there's people out there that would probably be into that, but that would just freak me out. It's just so morbid. Dick Tracy toys. I remember this was a movie that came out in, I think, 1990, and they hyped it up, just like it came out after Batman, 1989, so everybody was hyped about it, thinking it would be the next Batman. But as far as I can remember, it was a major disappointment, and it was pretty much forgotten for the most part.
Yeah, we'll put it right over in, right here.
These old Halloween masks here, I'm guessing from the 70s or 80s, are pretty disturbing if you ask me.
Yep.
I can see somebody using one of those in a horror movie for the main villain. And they're probably filthy too. But interesting. And a bunch of guns. I'm thinking these are probably pellet guns, hopefully. Because I can't imagine it's legal to sell actual firearms at a flea market. All right, and there you have it. That's the end of part 2 of the July 2022 Brimfield Flea Market. Remember, there's going to be, I think, 2 more parts to this. So if you liked the video, please hit the thumbs up. If you haven't already done so, please subscribe. It really helps out. And I'll see you next time.